Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a role-playing game to help learn or refresh yourself on design patterns. I'm writing it in Elm, and we've made a bit of progress, but next step is I want to do some drop-down menus. So let's see. I had last week off, so I'm a little off kilter here. But I think one of these articles looked really helpful. No, I think it was this one. Yeah, so Elm has an approach to its architecture. Basically, it's called the Elm Architecture. And I gather it's somewhat like React in the sense of you mostly focus on how do I transition my model from one state to another, and how do I view my model. And, kind of between those two things, the system, the architecture is responsible for kind of coordinating everything in that across that way. And you can see it in even in this small question, there's sort of an initial model of some type. There's the notion of a message, and then there's an update. How do you update your model given this message? And you do some stuff. And then how do I display, a model? I turn it into HTML and a message. So that kind of gives you the pieces, and then the system, everything can be very immutable, kind of in like a referential transparency kind of sense that, you're always given the same inputs. You always generate the same outputs. You don't have a way to do date or random numbers or take input or anything like that in your Elm program per se. It's more coordinated by the architecture in the middle. Okay. And so you need to let the architecture drive some of that. And then in our case, we want to deal with a drop-down list. Okay. And what I see here, the answer I see here. So one thing is, can we it's a list of roles. So can we turn a role into some HTML output? Okay. So given a role, I'm going to produce an option with a value and a text. Okay, so option is an HTML tag that describes one row of a drop-down list. Okay, then he's got this target value role decoder. It takes a decoder and a role and produces, well, let's see. I don't know if I can get it off the top of my head. Basically, I think he's turning a string into an object. Okay, so if you input admin, user, or none, he wants to create the admin, user, or none object. And I think that's defined up top. And then the last thing he mentions is the select, which is more or less the drop-down. You tell it on change, call this function, and then the contents of the display are the view options. Okay. I don't think I need a type for what we're doing here. I think a string is actually enough. Let's see how that is going to look. And let's just find his role. Yeah, so for him, in the problem here, role is just one of these three types. And, he wants to put them in a drop-down list and select them. Okay. Let's see. I've got to find. Well, I had a theory. IntelliJ has a plugin for Elm, and I thought I kind of put it together, but I don't think I've done anything with it. So let's just work in TextMate today, and we'll get things going that way. And I must have another terminal window somewhere. Let's try this one. What kind of stuff have we done? Okay. All right. And where's TextMate still coming up? Still trying. Okay, we'll let that go. But we can see, let's see, where is it? Elm Reactor is our function that runs our system and puts it up, puts up a server that has a local host we can reach and see it running. All right. Okay, I think it's still trying. Wow. The other thing I did was I updated my Mac. And let's see if I can find a window. Let me create a new one. Okay. So one of the nice things they have is this notion of tab groups, and you can open up a bunch of tabs and drop them all in one group. And when you come back to it, I'll go away and come back. It's got all those tabs just maintained for you. So let's see, that we'll keep that here. I don't know if no, I don't think we have it running anywhere here. Okay, let me make a new tab. Okay. Well, now I'm beginning to wonder if my upgrade has killed TextMate. So what we've done so far is we've got the notion of rooms, or rooms in our dungeon, or caves maybe in some cases. We've got the notion of connecting rooms with doors. So 1A can go to 1G, or 1G can go to 1C or 1B, and so on. We haven't dealt with the hallways. I don't know if I'm going to worry about the 1A to 1G one. But we can display a picture in each room, a little bit of text, and buttons that represent the navigation to the neighboring rooms. If you've been in the neighboring room before, you see the picture that corresponds to it. And if you haven't been to it, you get basically a question mark kind of thing. So that's pretty well where we are now. What I'd like to do is bring in more elements of the, well, I guess I'll call it a game element. The idea is that each of those pictures you see represents a sort of puzzle of, or maybe a metaphor for a design pattern, or it's sort of a representation of a design pattern situation, and you're supposed to guess what the design pattern is. And as you guess, like, some rooms may unlock and so on, but you'll be able to move around and make guesses. There's also supposed to be some interaction in it, and I don't know if you ever saw Monkey Island from years ago, but you had a little discussion you could do, sort of select your question and the character would answer, or you could do something or select a question or something like that. We won't be anywhere near as fancy, but I'd like to get some sort of dialogue in there. I think the drop-down is going to be challenging enough. So the idea for the drop-down is you're just going to have a list of patterns and select the one you think applies in this situation. And we'll go from there. Okay. I don't know what else I have in previous different map. I don't know. Well, the room drawings are kind of like this. They're hand sketches that Steve Metzger and I did back when. Okay. Let's see if I'm still waiting on. Unbelievable. Okay. IntelliJ is still trying. Okay, I'm not quite sure where that leaves me. All right, let's at least run something if we can do that. Okay, so I think Elm Reactor. localhost 8000. Let's try that. Put this back over here. Localhost 8000. Okay, so this is our code so far. Let's go in source and main. Okay, so here's the idea. You've got some picture that defines the room. We're in the room with Say My Name, and you're going to have this drop down that you're going to choose some answers for, and then you can navigate to other rooms. So notice that the only room you can get to is this one that we already saw. And if we go back, now you can navigate to the room with the elf there, or the other unknown room. And that looks like this, and you can go back. So pretty simple map. It's not as fancy as the one I showed before. But I wanted to focus on this element. All right, can I please get an editor? Okay, my goodness. All right. Let's, what do we have? Pages isn't really good. Text edit. Let's try that. Oh, and I've lost my, okay. Really, at this point, I just kind of want to do more or less a spike to figure out whether I can make these options work. All right, let's go here. Here's main.elm. And I can turn that into a font we can read. Bigger. Okay, so we're using the basic browser. We've got init. You can say the initial state. You've got an update function and a view function. All right, so init tells us the initial model. And in our case, it's a state with room 1 as the start room, and a set of rooms, just room 1. I'll have to look at state to remember what's going on there. But we have the notion of a dungeon, and the dungeon has a bunch of rooms. It has the room, it knows it has the room name or key, and then it creates a room with this picture, this text, these neighbors, room 2 and room 3. And then room 2 has a neighbor room 1, and room 3 has neighbor room 1. So that's the 3 pictures we saw. Okay. A list of patterns, and then some messages. And the messages these are the things that we can tell the system to do. And go to is what moves us from room to room, creates a new state with the new room as the current room, and marks the new room. It marks it to say these are the rooms we've already visited. So it's, we have to keep track, otherwise we don't know whether to display the question mark button or the regular button. All right, then the view. Given a model, how do you show it? All right. Well, we're going to go through, let's see, we don't need this comment anymore. We moved from a text description to the button, I guess. All right, so for the room name, click on go to room name. You got a button that can go to a room. And these nav buttons. Okay, the exits. Okay, so we set up that. We set up the list of buttons, and then what we display is the main image, a text description, header, what's the pattern, an option list, and the doors and the buttons. Okay, so we took the list of rooms, the list of dungeon information and turn that into a list of buttons that we can show for navigation. Okay, and this with style stuff is something that lets us get a style sheet in on our stuff. All right, let's save this. And I lost my, well, localhost 8000. Okay. If we go back to main. All right. So that's where we are. I want to get something done with this. And let's see if we can incorporate that spike description. Oh, I got two windows going. No wonder I'm confused. All right. Elm drop down. That was this. Okay, so what he's saying is the core of it is this select with an on change event. And map select role to the target value role decoder. I may have to let's see, is select role something up here? Oh, select role is the message. Okay. So we need a message that takes an argument, which in our case I think will be the string. I don't know, maybe I should just well, I'm going to go down the path of assuming we know what to do and can strip out the stuff that's not related to his roles and just use strings. So I'm going to assume my message is select. I'll say select pattern, and I'll give it a string. Okay, so let's see. We've also got tests. Let's get those up here. I don't think I've edited the tests with this. All right. Let's... Oops, let me do an open. Elm, let's go up a level. We have some tests somewhere, yes. Okay, we got main test. Tell you what, I'm just going to do this as a spike for now. I'll just set this aside. Okay, so I want to say guess pattern. Well, I have to tell, how do you take a message in a model and turn it into a model? It's a little backwards. I kind of think more like, given this model, when this message happens, do this, return this model. Okay, so guess pattern. When he has his here, he's got guess pattern or select role. So message will give that this, and let's make it take a string. Okay, so and I'll call it pattern name. Okay, so given a message that says guess the pattern is some string, then what will we do? Well, we'll just return the model as is. All right, not quite real, but that's where we're starting. All right, so I think with that, we have the equivalent of his message. Now we need something that turns, well, we need to be able to display the strings. Okay, so given a string, I want to display the HTML for it. I'm just going to put that inline for now. So I'm going to do something like this. Okay, and where that's going is here, just for comparison. Option value something, text something. Okay, he's doing the same thing. Value, he's getting it from the role. Okay, so let's take it from, let's see, select on click guess pattern. I'm trying to think where I get the message for that. Where's no room? Well, let's just comment these out. Have a go at a new one. We got an option, value gets the string name, the role in their case. I'll say pattern name. Eventually it'll tell me, like, I don't know where I'm supposed to get a pattern name. Okay, so that should cover this value to string from there. Okay, so this is my new one. Okay, value is a keyword. It's the attribute name, same for text. All right, so I'm displaying something. I don't know where I'm getting that pattern. Let's see what his on click select does. He does select on change that. Okay, so let's do select. Again, I'm going to comment this one. Okay, and what goes in the brackets? Well, on is a, I don't know what you call it, a command or an attribute maybe. A tag, I'm not quite sure. But on change, call this function. Okay, so on change, and change is defined by JavaScript, call a function. Well, map. So basically this thing gives you back a value, and then map is going to apply the select role to it. And in our case, that's the pattern that you're getting. Okay. Now target value decoder. See, for him, map this with that. Select role is kind of a constructor, and this is a function. Target value. Well, Unchanged, I don't know. I don't need a list of these. You can only pick one. Need a JSON decoder that can take the event's target value string and convert it to a role. So JSON decoder role. I want to just return string. Target value. I don't know what target value is. Sorry about that. I mean, it must be some sort of function, but I don't know if it's a built-in thing. Did he define it up here? I don't see it. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to just... Oh, this thing should get the value. I guess target value role is returning a function. What does this function return? Normally it returns... Well, I think it's trying to return a role. So I think it's a function from the argument to a decoder. Let's try sort of an empty function. Okay, so on change, we're going to want our guess pattern because that's the name of this thing. And then I'm going to say lambda he hard codes this. Okay, I'm going to say lambda val returns val. Okay, as a function that returns the thing from the thing. I don't know what'll happen. All right, let's save and refresh this. Okay, let's see some errors. Expecting to see an arrow next. Well, I think my font may be doing something. Let's save that again. Okay, I ran into a tap. Oh, don't do that. That was on the select. Okay. I'm going to have to find a better example, I think. We can go in a bit. Let's take a break, like about a 3 or 4 minute break. And we'll come back. Maybe I can find a different example of this thing and we can go from there. So, hi, welcome back. All right, so we can't find on. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Pattern name I understand because I don't know where that would come from. Same thing. All right, let's see if we can find documentation for this. Let's go back up to here. Packages. Okay, so I'm assuming this is Elm HTML. And we're perhaps looking for Elm text node map. Oh, well, they have an on click for buttons, but this is a select. Is that a tag? Yes, okay. Represents a control allowing selection among options. Yes, okay. List takes a list of attributes and a list of HTML messages and produces an HTML message. Okay, no example. Let's try attributes. I don't know about on. Super common. Input ranges. Links, maps. Well, I don't see on either, for what it's worth. HTML events. On click. On input for text fields and text areas. On check. On submit. Oh, there's on. Takes a string, a decoder, and an attribute. Produces an attribute. On. Okay, well, that's an easy way. Decode.succeed message. Okay, so on click. Well, we have on change, but we can do decode.succeed. Oh, sorry, on click is defined this way. On takes a string change, a decoder for a message, produces an attribute. Okay. Second argument is a JSON decoder. Event decoder turns the event object into an Elm value. If it succeeds, it routes it to your update function. In case of on click, we always just succeed with the given message. So it takes, I guess that's a decoder function that takes a message. Maybe we just need decode.succeed. Oh, it would probably help if I edit the other one, wouldn't it? Let's say this is decode.succeed. I don't know. Decode. On click decode.succeed with message. Produces some attribute. I cannot find an on variable. Maybe I need to import it. Where was I? Okay, well that's progress. We want JSON. JSON exposing decode. Well, I gotta say, that is not much. Okay. JSON.decode. I guess this package is JSON.decode. Maybe it's not a module. I don't know. Decoder is... I guess I'm looking for something that looks like decode. I don't know what happens if I'm explicit here. Cannot find json.decode.succeed. Okay, back to the example. Where was that? Well, it was HTML something. Let's go back up here. This stuff would definitely benefit from more examples. On click, decode, succeed. Message. On click, message. Oh, I'm going to do this. Hopefully move it forward a tiny step. Import cannot find. I thought this was, you want the Elsa. Oh, Elm install /JSON. Okay. Let's get back here. Well, first, yes. Okay. Okay, that's something. Okay, now we're down to the problem I know we had. Oh. Where is that name coming from? Okay, so let's see what we got here. Update. So we can find a select. No. Okay, so I think this example inputs, that's like fields and buttons. Okay, so input, type text, placeholder, username. On input, call the username message. Let's find his messages. Username message. So I guess we can just pass, I mean, these have arguments. So on input, what are we doing here? On click guess pattern. Okay, that seems compatible. Then what's it look like when it gets it? Update username. So he's not showing the values as he gets them, which would be helpful. String is model. All right, so this, let's see what handles it when we get it. So I guess we're going to call update with the message, which will be username with a string. Okay, so username. So let's look at our update. Guess pattern model. Okay, we're just returning model, but that's okay for now. Model with username equals username. All right. Then that comes through there. Well, I guess the deal is the username has to come from somewhere. Let's hard code it for now. Okay, so let's say the pattern is prototype, and this is going to be the model. Well, how do I get something out there? Who references dungeon? There's dungeon. Okay. I'm going to say the model's going to change. Oh my goodness. All right. So do I have, let's get state open. Open state. Again, let me take the font up. All right, so our state says we know the current room, we know the visited room, and let's say the last guess, and we'll make it a string. Okay, so known room state, room name says given a room name and a state, what room name should you go to, or what room name do you know? I don't know. Let's just work it through here now. So we got last guess. We don't have a last guess in our initial model, so we need to do that. Okay. Let's say the unknown pattern to start with. Actually, the word might be in there more than once. So let's say unknown pattern. Okay, so now that's in my model. And anybody who produces the model is going to have to produce the rest of it. So I guess they're going to have to be, well, we're going to have to get the models. Last guess. Okay, so I don't know if I had to define this function. Okay, so I'm just carrying it through the last guess that's already in the model. Okay, now I'm hoping this all compiles and gets us at least as far. Okay, all right. Option value, prototype, text, prototype. Option value is a list of attributes messages, and a list of HTML messages goes to HTML message. I'm going to say that this thing is probably the issue. No, that's still not right. Okay, did this take? It seems a little slow. Second to target select is not what I expect. Is that supposed to be a list of stuff? List attribute message, that's the on. HTML message, I think I need to make this a list. Okay, getting closer. Succeed value is a decoder of A, but on needs a decoder of message. Good. Decodes anything, but it needs to be a message particularly. I don't know. Let's go back to decode and see if we can get a succeed out of it. Ignore the JSON, produce a certain value. Oh, boy. It really stinks when you don't know what you're doing, doesn't it? Okay, field version int. Pipe to end, then info help. And then turns a decoder. Well, it turns a function that returns a decoder and a decoder into a decoder. I don't know. Oh, we're closing in. All right, so the example I had, is that here? Okay, I'm getting the same one twice. I don't know what happened there. Okay, on click. View data model. On input age. Well, I mean, I think this part is right. We're saying on whatever, create an element of this type with whatever value it's working with. Unchange. Okay, I don't think that's going to help. Going to close that. Okay, drop down an Elm. All right. This one, I think they do it by putting out their own little list. I'm not sure that's quite what we're after. We got on clicking on blur. On click address, get select of item.id. I don't know what that means. Okay, I'm going to say that's not helping me. Okay. Now this one, somebody said something down here. I don't know how to format. JSON decoder decode role. Target value, and then value goes to this stuff. Looks similar, but I don't know. Help test. HTML events. Seems like people are saying. One click on blur. That sounds like the example we were just looking at. Well, I'm not using Elm UI. Filterable drop-down menu. I would settle for a trivially basic drop-down menu. This one might be something too. Oh, you're gonna make me wait. Oh, there's no selector drop-down component baked into Elm UI. We'll be adding another dependency called Elm UI dropdown, adding styles and settings so it looks like we want it to. Yeah, so maybe this thing is... Well, I suspect this is part of the on-change thing, that it's sort of not really there. I don't have a better solution. And I don't know why this is so slow. But there you have it. Okay. Elm, blah, blah. They want a scrollable menu. Now, maybe I could get by with a text for now. Just move forward and get going. We've spent an hour trying this thing out. And I feel like we're closing in. If I knew what I was doing on this side, this decode thing, it's like I'm not quite getting... let's go back. Let's try this one last. I'll also try Elm select on example. Okay, I don't know if that's not worth it working. On input may work. That's worth knowing. Okay, so select on input type list.range, list.map. Well, that's the list of options. Well, let's try on input. And then we'll just put our message. I think I keep editing the wrong thing. All right, and I guess I'm out of practice because I didn't even open the chat menu. Okay, let's save that. Over and see this and reload. Okay, I cannot find on input. All right, we know how to fix that. Yeah, typo. Okay. On input gets pattern. No. Huh. Could we be there? Okay. That is good. All right, so here's prototype and select it. Did anything happen? Oh, I don't display. All right, my state shows stuff, but it doesn't show the last guess. Okay, so let's put that here. And we'll get fancier, but this is model and I don't know if that's built in or not. I may have to define it. Okay. Line 71. Oh. Well, I added this. Is this? That should be working, right? Okay. Let's put it down here. Oh, tabs. Okay, so that gets that. But what I want is the guess, last guess of model. Haha. All right, if I select this, oh, it's not triggering, or it's not getting through if it is. Okay, that's sort of progress. Other than not working, you know. So we've got whatever the model says the last guess is. Oh, we haven't implemented anything. Okay, so Here, what's that syntax for that? Yeah, this model with this. So we want to take our model and we want to make last guess equal to pattern name. Okay. So we got the pattern name, but we didn't do anything with it. Now if we put it in there, it should show up down at the bottom. And save that. Okay, unknown pattern, that's fine. If I select it, now this is where I don't know if it's calling it. The issue is that it's not calling it, or that it's what? Well, input, let's go ahead and add another option. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little more clear. This is a list. Trying to get 2 entries in here. Iterator. Haha. Okay, prototype. Iterator. Why it only worked with 2 in the list? I think because it's on input. I guess I'm thinking maybe it's not. Okay, so all right, let's move this up now and see if we can understand why that was complaining before. Okay. This I want your guess I don't remember if it's plus or plus plus. I'm sure it'll tell me if it doesn't like it. Yes, plus plus. Okay, I'm sure we can deal with the initial guess better than this. Honestly, if the initial guess is unknown pattern, I don't even want you to display anything. But I would like. I would like a blank, a new line in there. I don't know, is BR a tab? Yes. Okay. Okay, that's not enough to trigger it. Changing it triggers it. Well, one thing maybe the name, maybe the first thing in the drop-down box is, I don't know yet, or I don't know. And until you change it from that, I don't think there is a reason. Okay. But I do think this should probably be conditional. Okay. All right. Well, that's promising. I don't know if there's a way to make that on change be the trigger. Let's put the extra name in here. Okay. Maybe I don't know isn't quite right. Maybe it's not ready. Well, that'll get us going. And then maybe we can initialize this to, I don't know. Okay. All right. It's time for a break, so we'll take maybe a 3-minute break. And we'll figure out what we have to do to kind of turn this into formal official code from our perspective. I know there's some formatting to do and who knows what else, but let's take a break first and then we'll deal with it. All right. See you in a couple. Hello. Welcome back. I thought I'd share. I'm reading Hail Mary. Was it Project Hail Mary? By Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. I'm really enjoying it, so maybe pick it up if you get a chance. Okay. I think we've experimented enough. It's time to figure out what the real thing is going on. And one thing we know is there are going to be a bunch of rooms, and you're going to make a guess in each room, or at least potentially each room. There might be a room or two you don't have to, but most of them have a guess. And so a single string is not going to be the right structure for this. Now, what I don't know, well, a potential structure is a map. If I knew the room name that I was in, well, a map from room key, room name, like room 1, to answer. And I need a whole map full because I've got a large number of potential rooms. Okay, so I think that's what my state should be. So let's make it so. All right, where's my state.elm? Okay. We got the dot last guessed for free, if you notice that. So that's kind of interesting. But we don't have any tests for this. So let's find a test. Up a level. Down a level. Okay. Now, I don't know what... State knows the current room. State knows which rooms it's visited. Already visited room returns its name. Not visited room returns unknown. Okay. I guess I want another test. This test is well, it's something. I don't think we need to know all the patterns. I guess what we're saying is the state knows what does it know? It knows the guess for the current room. Okay. It may matter for the others, but when we're in our display, right, we're going to say what's the guess for this room. All right. And so let's see. That's handy in other places, but it's messing me up. I got so tired of looking up the arrow character. Okay, so if I take a state, current from list current. Oh, well, these are all messed up, aren't they? Okay, and I guess a map, and I know I have an example somewhere. My dungeon is. Okay, so you say from list. And we're going to have to open up the dungeon file too. And let's see if TextMate ever came up. Oh, it did. All right. Main, here's dungeon. Okay, so dungeon. Well, what does it got? Alias. Dungeon is a dictionary from room to name. Okay, so I would like to say not a set, a dictionary dot from list. Okay, dungeon did something similar. Yeah. Oh, we had to define it. Well, dict from list. Okay, I'll use a raw type for the moment. We'll kind of go step by step. All right, so dictionary from list, and the list is room 1 or current. Let's make it empty. Can I do that? Let's make an empty list. Okay. So I'm saying the state is the current room, the visited rooms is current, and an empty list of guesses. All right. And if you ask me, known room, I don't know, current room, current guess. Then I'm going to tell you it should be expect equal. Well, I don't know. Unknown or I don't know. What have we used before, right? I don't know. I don't know what happens if I say dunno equals I don't know. Or how about unknown guess? Okay, now we ran tests before, but I don't remember what we did to do it. Can I tell from this? Yes. Oh, we can just start them up. Should get some complaints because I added stuff to my dungeon, to my state, and I would think somebody would be minding that. Okay. This function cannot handle it. Okay, so this is main tests. Let's go down to State test. I cannot find a dictionary from list variable. Oh, well, we should import it. Okay. And I need our state type needs to be updated. Okay, so where's state? State is last guess. Well, let's make this guesses, and it's a dictionary from string to string. Ugh. Well, it's a dictionary from room name to string. Let's at least get that much. Okay, and I got to import dict. Well, okay, I think that will be okay. And then down here we need a dictionary too. Sing from list. Okay, so from list, I want to use that down here. We'll save this, back over here. Let's move desktops around. Okay, if member room name visited state.elm. Okay, this is composed of two imports, so I'm not sure which one to use. Oh. Well, let's expose member. And let's expose... I think if I'm just using the name, I can do this. Let's see if that's true. No? Okay. Okay, do I do exposing dict? Okay, this is progress. Main.elm, I don't care about at the moment. But let's look at state. Here's state test. Okay, we have current guess. Let's take an S off and make a new function. Current guess. Okay. We'll just confirm, same issue, one fewer S. All right. So how do you make the current guess from a state? It goes from a state to a string. Convert this. Okay. So current guess from state to string. So current guess of state equals, all right, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to take the current room and look it up, and if it's not there, we're going to return unknown guess. Okay, which means this probably belongs over on the other side. All right. Let's just return wrong. All right, so we can see if we can get the state test failing. Okay, so state test. The function cannot handle the argument sent through the pipe. Current room. Dot current room? Should just be current room. Current guess. Wait a minute. Oh. Yeah. Okay, because this doesn't have anything. Right. So let's just attach. We're not worrying about that part. Let's just attach an empty construction there. All right. That applies to all these states. Everybody has to have that extra argument. There may be some way to overload that. I don't know. All right. Well, let's see if that helped anything. Okay. The last argument is not what I expect. State new room, insert last guess model. The model is a value, but this function seems to be, maybe last guess should be guesses. What line was that? 54 in, oh, main.elm. How's state.elm doing? Well, main.elm is messed up because of the states. I know that much. But my state doesn't seem to even be running at this point. Main. Okay. Oh, the main.elm itself. Okay. Maybe we got to fix that. All right. So main, where's init? I don't know. Let's make this more of a dictionary.from list empty. And we'll need dictionary. Okay, now everybody who produces one is going to have the same issue. So let's find the ones who produce models. This one. Last guess. Well, that's not the state anymore. The state is guesses. So this one. Yeah, we might want to rewrite it to use the same style. But it's pulling the old guesses out of it and using that. Okay, what else uses the model? We don't have to look at this one, I don't think. I don't think it, oh, he's using last guess. We'll set things up for now. I don't want too many balls in the air. Okay, dot space guesses. I was expecting to see a closing parenthesis next. Oh, I need one to make after my TBD. Kind of funny how far he got with it. Oh. Again, I'm going to defer it for now. We're kind of regressing a little, I'm leaving pieces of the spike in place and sort of adding stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's saved. I just saw a field name, so I was expecting to see an equals in the sign. I'll just return model by itself. This was model pipe last guess. Instead, we'll just return model. So we're not changing anything in this case anymore. All right, I don't have to say run. Oh boy. Okay, main test, main test. Now, I don't know if it's not running the test because I have syntax errors. So let's get main test together. I don't know. There's something in here that's a message to me, and I'm not sure I'm interpreting it right. Okay, let's see. Main test. Pretty minimal test. Update. Go to room. State room. I guess we don't have the end parenthesis here. It's the second one. So let's put okay, import dude. And edit to the expectation. Basically saying a go-to doesn't change what we've guessed, which seems correct. Okay, let's see how this does. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, that actually looks like a test run. State knows the guess for the current room. Got wrongo, expected, I don't know. All right, that is a good thing. So, yeah, a little overhead in managing this stuff. Module state exposing dot. Let's be more... No, I don't mind exposing that stuff, but my tests should be more picky. Although you could say that everything there should be accessed. Yeah, I don't think, maybe it's not so bad for a test. Okay, equals unknown guess. Well, we can certainly return unknown guess here instead of wrongo. And that should pass the test. Yes. Okay, now let's get a test that's going to challenge it. Well, it's not knows the guess. I mean, it state uses unknown guess when current room has none. Okay, so if you don't know the guess, which is the case for an empty dictionary, it can't find it. Okay, then you just say unknown guess. But if you do know the guess, all right, so I think we're going to write the other side of this now. Okay. And it's kind of, oops. State current. Set from list, dictionary from list. And we definitely saw one in here. Okay, so you give it a list of pairs and it gets it from there. So let's just make a pair with the current room. And I don't know, the structure is worrying me a little. Okay, current room. Let's say the guess is pattern. Okay, Okay, so if they're in a room where they've already made a guess, we should, when we ask the state for the current guess, it should say pattern in this case because that was the guess that was made. All right. We think this is going to fail. I don't know because everything gets I don't know. All right. So now we want to use the dictionary stuff. And I think we have it here somewhere. Nope. Okay, so we want to get the query member. Okay, so if the thing is a member, well, all right. Yeah, so what I want to do is a get, and I get a maybe v, and I want to return something other than nothing. Okay, so we're going to look at maybe as well. Where did get go? All right, give it a comparable, like room name, and a dictionary, and it returns us a maybe. Okay, so let's try it. So given a string, all right, and the string we're looking for is current room of the state. Okay, and we're going to expose get current room of the state, and then also the guesses of the state. So if you look up the current room and the guesses, we know you get a maybe and the string, in our case, maybe string. Now let's go to maybe. All right, here's exactly what I wanted with default. So if you say with default and it's a maybe, can either be a just something or a nothing. So, oh, here you go. With default unknown of dictionary get of some value. Okay, so we can use that here with default unknown guess applied to dictionary.get. There's probably a better way to say that. With default unknown guess, do this. I don't know, that just reads weird, doesn't it? With default unknown, make the column parentheses. Okay, get unknown guess. Okay. Let's see if this works, and then we'll adjust it. I lost my runner. With default. Oh, it needs to be maybe with default, yes. Okay. Oh, capital S. Nope. Guesses for state. Okay, so look up the current room and the guesses. This is junk. Okay, look up the current room in the state and take a maybe for it. Hey, there we go. Okay, now I think the other way to do this is put this first. And then I think we can pipe it to here. Getting rid of some parentheses if I do it right. Did it run? 424. Okay. Yeah, so I think that reads a little more kind of in a forward way. So get the current room and the guesses. Try and look up the current room and the guesses. If you've got one, return it. If not, return the unknown guess. All right. Woof. All right. So what? Kind of painful today. I think we're making progress. Let's see. I haven't touched my to-do. Who knows what it says? Let's catch up on that. I think that's up a level. All right. Answer. What's the pattern? How does onClick interact with message? Okay. Answer. What's the pattern? That seems okay. This was kind of a note to ourselves. So I think the way we're doing this is give the state a map from room to guess, and then use the guess to display current guess. Well, use the list of patterns to display possible guesses. Use the guess. How about show the current guess if it exists? All right. What else have we done? Well, I think at this point we need to make. I think we've dealt with the state. Okay. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I mean, one possibility would be take the list of all possible rooms and map a default value and then update it somehow. I think what we need to do, well, we need to update the model when there's a guess. Okay. Whoops. I think we've done this one. Give the state a map from room to guess. I believe we've done that. Use the list of patterns to display possible guesses. Well, show the current guess if it exists. I think we're going to update the model when a guess is made. Okay. Use the list of patterns to display possible guesses. Show the current guess if it exists. That probably comes there. All right. I think that's our next goal. All right. So next time is Sunday, a couple days from now, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll pick up with here. I think we've gotten through the hump of the selection stuff that's kind of a pain. It's a little weird that we have to keep so many states around, but that's just the way the game goes, I guess. There's going to be more of that, so I'm not quite sure how we're going to handle it, but we'll get there. And then I think next time we'll figure out some editor that we can work with. I'm hoping the IntelliJ thing will work. I think something's messed up in it, so I'll have to take a look at that. But I'll try and do that before we get started Sunday and hopefully start up with an editor going. Hopefully something better than TextEdit. Almost certainly something better than TextEdit. All right, thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.